Hey everyone, you are watching another edition of the NintendoFuse Game Chat. Today, we are talking about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. My name is Hassan, and I am joined here today by Barry
Hey guys.
and Blake.
Hey, everybody.
The latest game from Ubisoft with Mario IP in it, Mario and Rabbids, the unlikely combo that, at least in my opinion, surprisingly really fun. What do you guys like? Is this? Do you guys agree with me that are you like enjoying this as much as I am? Because I'm loving it.
Absolutely. I was like, I like many people probably at that time were like, what do you do with this? Like people are talking about Mario and Rabbids and like an XCOM kind of thing and doing all this stuff like tactical RPG and not like a Mario game, not like an RPG like Super Mario RPG, but like totally different. And then they showed it off at E3 and with Miyamoto coming out at that point and stuff, I was just like, and looking at it, I'm like, this looks cool, and I'm loving it so far. What about you, Barry?
I mean, I was gonna get it regardless, just because I'm a sucker for Mario games. I like most of them, and I never was against the Rabbids. It's not that I thought they were the greatest games, but I didn't mind their characters, and I was like, all right, I want to give it a shot. Although it is a really weird combination. Like, what is this? What is this going to be? And then when the leaked photo popped up, I was like, all right, now I just want a Luigi Yoshi buddy cop movie, because the way they are posed on that together, like I could just totally see a buddy cop movie. And then when E3 happened and Miyamoto came on stage, and you saw the director, and he had the tears in his eyes, like recognition. I'm like, yep. I don't even need to see gameplay. I'm totally hooked already, just because if there's that much passion, I know there's going to be that much in the product. And when they showed it off, I'm like, yeah, this looks amazing. And I refuse to watch anything else afterwards other than people's reactions and the holy crap, this looks really good. Like, this isn't supposed to look good. And obviously playing it, I fell completely in love. I got the season pass already. I've already invested to show my support. I've completed the game 100%. Everything is done like 45 hours into the game. Like, I just really enjoyed the game. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, right from the opening scene, like you could tell they put in so much love and care into this game. Like, just that entire room filled with so many Nintendo goodies and stuff. Like, it just, as soon as that started, I was like, okay, we're in for a treat.
Yeah.
There's something too with the graphics, like the way it's done, like Mario in 3D, like the HD, I should say, Mario in HD. A lot of it is more like the new Super Mario look. Like even Mario 3D World has that almost new Super Mario 3D or look, just put in 3D. But this has its own aesthetic style, and it works. It looks really good.
Yeah, it is. It's probably one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch, actually. So it is absolutely beautiful. And I think it's the Snowdrop engine that they're using for it. And yeah, it's pretty exciting to see what that does. Cause I mean, I think they did the Division with it as well. I don't quote me on it, but I think this is like the second game they've used on it. And it's just kind of cool to see such a contrast of it can do that, and it also can do what we get from Mario and Rabbids, I think, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. The overworld is just beautiful to just sort of walk around in and explore and everything, and just visually, really fun. Definitely.
I'll see. One of the interesting things is I saw a review before it arrived, because I think the embargo went up in the weekend. And my copy actually arrived Monday from Amazon, so I got to play it a day early, which is cool.
Oh, wow.
But I saw the review, and they're talking about, like, oh, it's very limiting. Like, there's not a lot of exploration. And I was like, it kind of sucks, But then when I played it, I'm like, what are they talking about there? It's limited, but there's a lot of exploration. And, in fact, there were times where I went through a world several times looking for that last treasure chest, and it was someplace completely obvious. But I think that's the charm of it, is that it's so deceptively simple that there are so many things you will miss, and you have to go back to re-explore, and you have to go back and just find stuff if you're going for 100%, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, before we jump too much into it, we should probably give, for anybody that isn't familiar with it, maybe just a brief overview of what the game really is, which it's a strategy game. And so you're in this little overworld walking around, but then you happen upon these sort of little battles, and there's different objectives. Sometimes it's defeat all enemies, sometimes it's get to the end of the stage, and you have a team of 3 characters, and you can pick from a select range of characters that you either start in the game with, and you unlock a couple as you go. And the way that each turn goes is you characters move, use special attacks, special abilities, kind of a combo of things in any different order. And it gets pretty complex. It's definitely very interesting how they have done it. Now, I haven't played too many strategy games myself. The only other series that I've kind of gotten into a little bit is Advance Wars, which was a lot of fun. Are you guys really much into strategy games, and did that carry across into your love for this game at all?
I guess a little bit for me. I mean, I've all I did with like Disgaea 5 Complete came out on the Switch as well, and I played like the demo for it. That's like all of the I played there. I played a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics growing up, if you ever played that. I played a lot of stuff like, I mean, I love like Fire Emblem. I don't even know if that like fits into same category a little bit, but yeah, you know, so there's certain ways that I can kind of say, yeah, I've played a few, and yeah, this is almost just different from all of them, I guess, too. So yeah, but I think it's really interesting to for people to get their feet wet almost with this kind of game, because if you haven't played a lot of like strategy RPG games, stuff like that, this is a great place to jump off, I guess you could say, in my opinion. Yeah.
I mean, I've played for years too. I did like Shining Force, Fire Emblem, Tactics Ogre, Final Fantasy Tactics. You know, tons, just a little bit of Disgaea, not the newest one, but I like the genre, but it's one of those genres that I need to be in the mindset. Like even in RPG, I can sit down and just get involved in a story. But with Tactics RPG, because there's so much thought into it, like I really need to be in that mindset. And this game, like I haven't played the newer XComs. I know this is very similar to the newer XComs. In fact, I might even look into that now down the road when I get the time. There's just too many games coming out. But like I never felt like, oh my God, I need a terrible amount of thought to jump into this game. Like I could just kind of go, and if you fail, you could always restart, and you can, you know, and there are some gripes about that, which I'll get into later, that there are some negatives, but for the most part, it's so fluid. It does get complicated, and there's no one way to win any battle. There are 100 ways, 100 different characters. You know, you don't even need certain archetypes. Like there's 2 healers, which are Peach and Rabid Peach, and I wound up using them a lot. And then there came a time where I couldn't need them. I needed to use other characters, and like I had to like make sure they had vampire weapons so that they could heal themselves, and you know, go, because there's always two different weapons to choose from with different abilities, and I'm like, you know, oh, this really works. Like, oh my God, this is a little more fluid. You know, I don't have to stop and worry about healing. I can just keep going, and everyone can move different spaces, and everyone has different abilities and special weapons, and like there's so much to it that it almost feels like back in the day when Final Fantasy 1 came out, like people, like I think it was Nintendo Power, like challenged people, beat this with 4 white mages. Like who can do it? Like it allows you that freedom. Like, well, once you've beaten the game, of course. Like, hey, can you do these challenges with, you know, both Yoshis or both Luigis or 2 Marios, or however you want to combo? Like get out of your norm, out of your comfort zone, and really just play with it. And it's really good.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point that you mentioned too, with like having to pick certain characters or certain abilities for different levels, because if you really want to get deep into it, you can, you know, before each battle, customize your team, the weapons, primary and secondary weapons, and the skill tree that you can do. You can reset the skill tree and even select certain skills to to lead towards, you know, powering up certain parts of your characters and really delve into it. Now, I haven't gotten that heavily into it because I feel like that's a bit too much for me, but the option's there for people that really want to, and that's really cool that they have, you know, that level of flexibility with it.
I will say though that it is impossible to fully max out your character. You can get close if you beat everything. You get really close, but you cannot get everything 100%. So you still, even in end game, may have to swap around.
Yeah, really interesting. I did notice that even when it depended on what like level I was facing. Hassan, you mentioned a little bit that you have some levels where you have to reach a certain area, and when that happened, I tended to like go back through my skill tree and be like, okay, what do I have that can help with like movement? I mean, Luigi can jump a couple different people, you know. You kind of are like, yeah, what can I do to keep going further? How many cells can I leave out of this pipe? You know, it's really like you really do think about it a little bit in terms of what you do in the level, because I have to have that perfect. I'm telling you, I have to have the perfect. Yeah. So it's like, what do I do to do that? You know. So
we'll see. What's interesting too, like with those techniques, like get to the end or whatever. Like Luigi is a very good character for that. Besides the fact that he could triple jump, besides the fact that he has a movement space of 9 when you max him out, he also has an ability that increases everyone's movement space by up to 3 points, which is great. However, when you beat the game, you can go back through and there's challenges. There's challenges per world, and then there's ultimate challenges. And when I was doing one of the ultimate challenges, which is a reach the goal, which is not a standard challenge, it is long. And I was trying to do it using Luigi, and there was no, like, Luigi moved so fast that there was no way I can keep my characters, so they were always apart, and they always got killed because they weren't together, and I couldn't even use the jump mechanic because no one can touch Luigi. And I realized as fast as he was, I had to go back to the drawing board and pick 2 different characters, and I couldn't use Luigi that would stay together better, and I wound up beating it that way. One negative thing that I understand for cutscenes, and I really wish they would allow you to do it afterwards, is remove Mario. Like, I love Mario. I absolutely love Mario, but I hate the fact that you are forced to choose Mario because he's great. He's an overall fantastic character. Definitely makes things easier, but I would like to try other combos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. My other, like, I don't know, like, gripe, I guess, too, is the only thing I can level up besides, like, the skill tree stuff is what weapon they use, or secondary, primary. You know, I was like, it'd be great if the next one, if they do a number 2, which I'm hoping they do, it would have like armors, and you could put on like a different hat or something that you could have better defense, or you could change up some other stuff if you wanted to put these shoes on that would give some more speed or something like that, you know. So
you can up your movement speed in the skill tree.
Oh, well, I guess that's true. You're right. You do get to use some like speed stuff in the skill tree. That's right. So there is some elements of that, but I also was like, it could change it up and like add so much more to it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of options that you have in the game. Now, real quick, how far are you guys in the game?
Well, Barry's like done, right?
I'm done.
So, yeah, I've gone back because I wanted to do all of World 2 perfect, and so I made it up to like 3-4. You know, there was some like in that area that I think it might be 3-3 that you have like these ghosts that like disappear and reappear in another place, something like that. So I made it to that level, and then I felt bad, and I was like, well, I'm going to go back and just get perfects on everything. So now I'm perfect through World 1 and 2, but I'm back up to like 3-3 or whatever it is. So
see, that's the one thing I didn't do. I didn't go back through like using the washing machine and go get perfects on every single thing, just because I'm like, maybe I'll save that for another time. Do I want to do it just yet? Because I went through the first world and beat it, and then I went back through the first world like, oh, now that I have the push, I'm going to use the push, find new things, and I'm going to do the challenges. And I started the first challenge. I'm like, this is impossible. Very easy, my butt. You know, because I hadn't customized yet. I didn't have special weapons. I wasn't powered up yet. It is very easy, but I just wasn't ready. So I said, screw doing challenges. So what I actually did is I wound up going through each world twice looking for all the items. If I didn't find all the items by the second time, I waited till I beat the game, then came back, and that's when I did all the challenges while looking for anything I missed. And I did World 1, 2, 3, 4 that way, and then the ultimate challenges, which are afterwards, because there's a lot. There's 44 challenges, and they range from very different difficulties. But yeah, I might go back and try to get all gold. There's nothing, there's no incentive other than, hey, I did it. Like, if they gave you more upgrade orbs, or if they gave you a new weapon, or upgraded your max HP or something, then I totally would do it, because I'm ready for the new story content from the season pass. But because there's not, it's kind of like, there's other games I'd rather put my time in now. I already spent 45 hours in this. It's great.
Yes. I knew they gave you more gold if you get it perfect, but do they not give you more power orbs if you get it perfect?
I think no, they don't. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The power orbs and the static gold is static, and then you get more gold depending on how well you do. But once, I mean, unless you want to buy every weapon, which I didn't do, but there's no real reason to buy older weapons. There were a few challenges later on where I actually needed a weaker weapon, because I actually had to hit an enemy and have the enemy hit me and bounce me as part of the mechanics. But you have your starter weapon you can switch to, so it's like there are thoughts. It's not just kill things. It's really interesting, some of the later stuff they throw at you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm on 2.7, so I'm not as far as everyone else. But even I've only done a couple of the challenges, but then I got stuck on one in World 1 that was something like that, Barry, where you did have to purposefully get hit by one of the bashers or something to get pushed into the area. I still haven't beat that one yet. I kind of know what to do, but I don't know how to position myself in the right spot. Like, those challenges really make you think about, taking advantage of the situation, and it's really interesting how they did it.
Just wait till you get to the ultimate challenges, where it's literally like you have to kill like 30 enemies, and you start with like Bowser Jr.'s right there ready to fight you. And you have all the mini bosses and tons of enemies, and they're all like, you have like 15 enemies at the start, and then you still have more to kill. Plus, there's like environmental hazards to dodge, and you're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. And they start you on 3 separate sides, so it's like, oh my god, like it is insane. But it's fun. Like they're 20 and 30 point turns, like I mean like rounds, but they are fun because it's like, oh my god, like you could always go back and do them. Really, if you just want a fun challenge.
Yeah, that sounds really, really interesting.
Did you guys find
and I'm curious to see.
Very difficult, the game? Have you found it like a rise in difficulty? I seemed like I reached a level of difficulty and it's kind of stayed there for me a little bit, but now World 3's given me a couple of times the first 3 levels even. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but yeah. Anybody else?
I haven't. I mean, at least so far, it hasn't been. I haven't reached like a difficulty yet. With some of the challenges, it just made me think a little differently, I think. But I haven't gotten to the point where it's been super difficult, because I've been as I get enough coins, I'll buy a new weapon, or upgrade the skill tree. Like, as I'm going, I'm constantly keeping everything upgraded and amongst multiple characters, so that way, I hopefully don't come across any like balance issues and stuff as time goes on.
Yeah, I found it does get a little more difficult in World 4. There were a few times where I use the easy mode just because there's one of the gripes I have is it definitely comes in World 4 is if you need to restart a challenge, like a match, you could just restart the match. But what it does is it puts you right before the start of that match, so you can do what you need to do and then go right into it. But in World 4 specifically, there are back-to-back, and in one case, back-to-back-to-back matches against bosses. And it's just like, if you fail that third one, you have to restart and do them all over. So I was at that point, I'm like, you know what? I'm just turning easy mode on just because I don't want to deal with the frustration of going through them again. And there's no negative to it. It's just literally just heals you and it gives you more HP. That's all it does. It doesn't give you more attack power. It doesn't give you any other advantage than that. It's just, I just wanted to ensure I had a fair chance because some of them are just, I got brutal. Like it just got really bad. That is a gripe, that it doesn't allow you, like in those instances, it doesn't allow you to start right back at that particular one. You have to go back to the beginning of the chain. And it's padding at the end too. Like it's just like, oh, well, we could make them separate, but let's make it harder by making it back. And I understand that because it's right near the end of the game, but it would be nice to not punish so much, because that's happened, where you just had a bad turn.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, we're talking about like gripes and stuff. One of the other, two little, I guess, minor gripes I have. One is with the camera, which sometimes you have full control over and sometimes you don't. And I think the reason why they don't give you control sometimes is when you're kind of walking around the overworld trying to find secret things. They don't want to make it super easy to find stuff. But it quickly goes back and forth between the two and you never know. So I constantly have the little camera icon appearing in the corner because I'm trying to turn the camera, but it doesn't let me turn it. So I wish there was a better way to know when you could turn the camera and not, because it's just odd, I think, that little switch. And kind of related to that with the camera, when you're doing those little blue coin challenges, I find that they are more difficult than they need to be because I can't get the beepo in the right spot where I want them, and I'm constantly missing things. I feel like because of the camera angle, it really throws me off sometimes.
Yeah.
That happened once to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. Like, there's some moments where Beepo, I want him to be lined up with something, but he's not. And even like going through a pipe, it's like Mario and all the gang are lined up with the pipe and ready to go in it, but Beepo's not. So it's true. You kind of have to make sure it is lined up like that. And it's a little bit more difficult than it should be, probably. So
I think that's because when you're playing it, a lot of times you forget you're controlling Beepo and you're not controlling Mario, and you just instinctively think you're controlling Mario and you're not. So and Beepo is so small, sometimes in the environment he kind of disappears. I wouldn't say that's a gripe as much as just getting used to it. My biggest gripes, I would say, one is no undo button. There are times where I'm planning out something with multiple jumps or multiple dashes, and I'm like going through and I'm trying to figure out what my first move is, and then I accidentally click the button, or I'm just on the wrong square, like right next to it, and it moves. I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. That's over. The other thing is, to go along with that undo, I would love it if you could see what your attack range would be where you put the marker. Now I know it'll say like, oh, 0%, 50%, or 100%, but really where your like secondary weapons can hit, because there's no way to check that. And there are times I'll move into position and I'll be like one square off from hitting everybody with a grenade, and I'm like, oh my god, seriously? Or one square off from being able to like do a jump with another character because they just can't reach. And it's like, oh, you know what, that kind of hinders it a little bit, because there's no way to really know totally without, it's like it makes it a little more cumbersome. And I think an undo button would just allow that with undo move. Like I wouldn't do undo shoot or anything like that, but at least undo with the move. I think that would just make it a little bit more forgiving and a little bit more user friendly. Yeah,
maybe like within the first 2 seconds of doing it, you have the ability to push a button and undo.
I wouldn't even say that. Like that would for accidentally clicking. But like I said, if you move from point A to point B and then you get to point B and you go to fire your weapon and you realize, oh well, if I was one square to the right, now it would be able to hit. You're past 2 seconds because you got the strategy. It's purposely paused. It wants you to take your time to plan. And you can't plan without being able to see what your attack range is where you move next. So sometimes it's obvious. I'm going to move right next to the enemy. Boom, I can hit them. But you have people like Peach, which has a spread weapon, and I think Rabid Mario has one too. And then you have like the grenades, and you have the sentries, and they all have different ranges. And there are times I'll move and I'll have to use a sentry, and I realize, oh, I'm in the blast radius, or I put another character in the blast radius, and I have no choice but to blow them up too, because there's friendly fire in the game, just because it's the best overall move, and then I have to heal them afterwards. So there is like, these are little things, and these are things fixable with a patch. I mean, they could easily just add this in a patch, because we know there are new content coming, so I don't see why they couldn't add it in.
Right. Yeah, true. Have any of you guys gotten to try any of the other modes? Like when it comes to I think there's like a co-op mode where each person can use 2 players. I haven't gotten the chance to try that, but I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah. My wife and I played a little bit, so it was kind of interesting. It was pretty fun too, because you get to use four characters. If you didn't know that, you each control two. So you each get to pick two people to control, and you go and defeat those levels and stuff a little bit that way. So it's really interesting. I was really enjoying it, because you get to kind of talk to my wife and just kind of saying some things like, "Hey, why don't you go up there, and then you can flank them over there," and all this stuff. So it's things that you can really enjoy. So I do recommend it if you ever get a chance. But there's nothing tremendously like special or incredible about it. But you get to have a lot of fun with a person next to you, and just to kind of play through some of those things. I did have one, like we did like the first levels after I had leveled up all my characters a little bit. And so it was like, all right, well, we might as well like have these there, and we just destroyed everybody. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun like that too. So I definitely recommend a chance to look at it if you get a chance to, guys.
Yeah, I haven't touched that. It's just been so crazy. I haven't been able to grab my wife and say, sit down and play this with me. She watched me play a little bit, but life hasn't happened at that point. But the nice thing is that could always happen later on, especially with the Switch portability. Just pick it up and say, all right, let's play this now. There's just so much going on in reality, and then just other games. Ironically, this is Rabbids, which started in Rayman, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, because Rayman Legends Definitive Edition's coming out. So I didn't get to play that, so I'm looking forward to playing that finally after all this time, which is interesting, because I'm going from Mario to Rabbids, and then in October is Mario again. So it's like Mario, Rayman, Mario kind of deal. So it's all. That's like the precursor to the next two games I'm playing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I feel like I'm at that point now where I could get Rayman Legends, because I really didn't get the chance to play it before, but I have this game, and I'm like, I want to finish this game. Like,
game.
I have Splatoon 2, which I stopped playing because this, and I stopped playing Mario Kart because of Splatoon 2, and I stopped playing Zelda because of Mario Kart. I'm like, I need to just stop and focus on these games. And right now, I feel like this game, once you're in a rhythm and you're really getting down the stuff, I want to keep playing it and really get to the end to just keep it going. It's
especially because it's short. Like, in the sense, it's short, but it's not like, oh my god, this is a really good 2-hour game. Like there are only 4 worlds, so in that sense it's short. But there's enough content to go back to with the challenges and finding all the hidden stuff, to make it incentive to extend your playthrough. And I'm curious, like, after you played as much as you guys have, are you guys interested now in going for that season pass, getting the steampunk weapons, and they're doing the Zelda series that you get the weapons right now, and then there's another content patch coming this holiday, and then next year there's a story content, which you're probably going to add a 5th, maybe even a 6th world. Are you guys interested in going for that now that you've played it?
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued, right? So I'm like, yeah, it's really fascinating. So I would be, I'm really interested in it. I don't know if I'll ever just buy it or whatever, but I think I'm intrigued. I was thinking while Hassan was talking too, though, that I was like, oh, we didn't have these issues with games last year. You know that?
Yeah, no.
So I don't know. I don't know how this is happening, but yeah, like, you're right. We have so many things. So I'm like, will I want to buy the DLC after I have things like Mario Odyssey here and
You'll be done with
Chronicles?
You'll be done though, because this is gonna
See,
the
there you go,
content's coming in 2018.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. No, I bought it already. I literally I bought the game digitally on the eShop, and then I bought the season pass immediately, because I knew that the initial downloadable weapons that you get are like slightly powered up versions of like the regular basic weapons, but then they easily get outclassed as time goes on. So I wanted to be able to use those weapons, the pixel ones, which look really cool. So I used those right at the beginning, and now I've upgraded to other stuff since then. But yeah,
there's 3 sets of weapons: the pixel, the steampunk from the season pass, and then the amiibo weapons, and they're all actually really good starting weapons. that will give you an advantage. Like when certain characters join your teams later on, like the starter weapon is so much weaker than one of those 3 bonus weapons you can get, which just makes the game easier. However, for anyone listening that's like, oh, I don't have the amiibo, or I don't want to buy the season pass, or I didn't get a launch copy with the pixel pack and I don't want to pay $2.99, none of those weapons are the best weapons in the game. So you're not missing out on anything. You will definitely get better weapons, and they would just be more cosmetic weapons at this point, which I kind of wish they had glamour. I was saying this to my wife, like I kind of wish you can, when you beat the game, you can then power up all the other weapons to be equal in strength, just because like you said, like the pixel pack weapons look so good, like they're neat 8-bit weapons, but you're not going to use them because they're not useful anymore.
Right.
Yeah, when does all this come out? Like the new worlds and stuff? Did we say?
The new story content is 2018. There is new content coming this holiday. I don't remember what it is, but I think it might just be like some challenges. Hassan, I don't know if you have it up or you remember, but the steampunk weapons are right now. They are live. That's part of the season pass, so you will get those right away.
Because the pixel pack came with my physical copy.
Yeah. The pixel pack comes with all launch copies. You get a little thing. No harm in showing my code because it's already used. But if you do not get it, or you get a used copy, like a GameStop, someone traded in, and that code has already been used, you can buy the pixel pack. I think it's the $1.99 or $2.99 for that.
Yeah, digitally, it doesn't come with the pixel pack because I bought it digitally on the eShop. But I bought the season pass, which included it. So
really? Oh, yeah, that's right. The season pass does also include the pixel pack.
Yeah,
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I just had it separately from, like I said, the physical. You get that as a bonus. See,
Right.
one more reason to go physical over digital.
There you go. Boom. I love it.
Speaking of physical stuff, though, they did release the physical. They're not amiibos, which you would have thought they would have amiibos for this, but they have the actual figurines, and they're pretty big from what I've seen.
There's 2 sizes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
There's an amiibo size that's $20, and then the big one, which is $40.
Yeah.
Now, when those were announced at E3, I immediately went to the Ubisoft store. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to buy these, and I saw $40 each, and I turned around immediately, and it said nope. And then when I saw they had smaller ones, I'm like, ooh. And then when I saw those were $20 each, I'm like, you know what? If they were amiibo, I wouldn't even think twice about it. But because they're not amiibo, I'm passing.
Exactly. If only they'd made them amiibo, it would have been perfect. I don't know why they didn't, but
especially because the game uses amiibo.
That's right.
At least for amiibo, it does.
Yep, that's right.
And that's it. Like I kind of wish like there was more. Like once you do the amiibo, it's it. Like you can't even scan anymore. It's like you one and done. So if you don't want to buy the amiibo and you have the game, bring the Switch to a friend's house that has the amiibo, and you can unlock the weapons that way, one and done, really quickly.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty quick. In terms of the other content in the game, one thing I did want to mention is the music in this game. It's done by the same composer that did like Banjo-Kazooie, and the music is at least from what I've heard so far is really good. I was doing a battle right before this as well, and I was just enjoying the music, and just it really fits the theme. And I like how he does incorporate some classic Mario music, especially when you're walking around near Peach's castle and stuff in that area. Like that made me so happy to hear that music, but the new stuff is really cool too.
Yeah, the new songs, like, I swear there were times where if I could just close my eyes and I saw, instead of actually seeing this game, I actually saw, like, Freezeezy Peak from Banjo-Kazooie 1. Like, it just screams banjo music. And then, of course, it made me want another banjo game, which made me sad. So, in a way, it was kind of sad music. But no, the music is incredible. The soundtrack is awesome. In fact, the soundtrack, like, listening to it now makes me kind of sad. I didn't get the collector's edition to get the actual physical CD. However, it was $40 more, actually a little bit more because I got this on Amazon, so I got 20% off. So it was a little bit more than that. And again, you get the $40 statue, which I'm like, I don't want to spend $40 for a soundtrack CD and a statue. I don't really want. So yeah, the music is great, and the sound effects. Like, one thing I thought was interesting is obviously the Mario sound effects are there. You know, you get a mushroom, you hear a mushroom sound, you get coins, obviously. But like when you fight Rabbid Kong, which isn't a spoiler because he was in E3, like the bananas fall and it's DKC sounding banana sounds, and I'm like, wow, they went that little extra mile. I really appreciated that.
Oh yeah. I love the after you finish a battle and you got the da 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 da. You know, I'm just like, oh, this is cool too. So yeah, just things that bring a smile to your face, and the music is one of those things too. I agree with you, both of you, wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This entire game, I think, is filled with a lot of those nice little touches, like between the humor that is brought in the game from the Rabbids and the Mario characters, and the little things that you come across as you're walking around the overworld. And it's so much fun just to see. Like, I just came across something, and this is in World 2, so minor spoilers, I guess, environment spoilers, if anybody cares. But there's some like Rabbids, and they're like in a little power block, and they're kind of like follow a little letter P or something. They just these little, which it gives it that charm, and I think that's the part of it too that, with strategy games and stuff, and in order to really get invested in it, like you want to have some good components of how you play the game and be invested in the system, the gameplay system itself. But what really keeps you in it and wanting to play more is the charm and the story and the characters, and I think that kind of gets you into it, because just seeing their little interactions in the battles and in the overworld is just so much fun, and that's, I think, what keeps me playing the game.
Yeah, there's also some raunchier things for a Mario game in this. There's a lot of toilet humor. Literally, there is a toilet in one part with a duck floating in it. There's like a rabbit statue like on the toilet, and it's like the description is log building or something like that. There's one part in World 2 where you go into there's this giant rabbit statue, and you approach from behind, and you go between its legs, and there's just a stream of water, and you're like, oh my god, I'm going through something I don't want to do, and you turn around, and it's really just a rabbit holding a vase, and like the vase has a crack in it, so it's like it plays with your expectations a little bit, and I think that's brilliant. And like you were talking about the character animations, like one of my favorites in the game is from Rabid Peach. When you fail a mission, like Mario will be like, oh, and like Peach will just drop to the ground, and Luigi will, oh no, she like storms off the screen, and all of a sudden her wig and the crown come flying in and hit Mario. Like, screw this, not only am I out of here, but I'm done role playing as Peach. Like, I'm just done. Like, and I thought that was just so like characteristic. It just worked so well. And it's like those little touches. They didn't have to do that. They could have just had her fall and go, oh no, or this sucks, or like, but no, they went that extra mile to give her that extra little attitude. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, I love her and her taking her selfies all the time too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you watch her, sometimes when you move her to a place and she has to stop, she'll just like fall flat on her face and just be like, boom, oh man, like it's just great. I was like, yeah. But I like to have her with me all the time. I don't know why. I just and it's nice to have that healer in my mind of oh yeah. So that's good. But it's really fun.
This is possibly slight spoiler-ish, but since you mentioned her selfies, when you beat the game during the credits, you see a bunch of selfies from her from all different parts of the game, which I thought was just a nice little touch. Like,
that's cool.
A little incentive to beat it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, no, there's this. It's so much fun just to enjoy this game. There's so many little things that that I didn't notice the first time I was playing it, but my wife was playing little levels, and I watched some other gameplay videos and stuff, and you pick up on different things. And people, of course, play the game different ways too. So just to see how people approach the game and their strategy to each level is really interesting, and it adds that replayability as well, which is definitely fun.
Do you guys have a favorite character or anything like that of those of those 8, basically.
I have favorite setups, like
Oh yeah, okay, yep, that you would use.
My main setup is I use Mario, Rabbid Peach, and Peach for the majority of the game. It's a safe setup. It has extra heals.
Yeah,
But there are times I'll switch out Peach with Luigi because he's got the extra movement. He's got the long range.
yeah,
But like the challenges where like you had to do like zergs of enemies at the end. Like I used my main 3 just because it's
yeah.
a stamina match. But then there are other times where I decided to change it up, and I would use Rabbid Luigi and Rabbid Mario, and like the 2 of them have vampire stuff, so they're
Mhm.
hitting and like I think Rabbid Luigi has a vampire dash, which was like
Yep.
crazy. I'm like, oh my god, like he's just dashing into something to heal, and Rabbid Peach has like the 4 times dash, so I'm like, oh, I could start with her and I could go around an arena and just hit 4 enemies, and like there's just so many different combinations. The only ones I really didn't play with much are the Yoshis because they came in at the end, and I didn't see anything that made me, oh my god, like bringing a lot to the table, or at least a lot for me to the table. And I'm sure there might be somebody listening go, oh my god, yeah, Yoshi's the best character. Oh, you got to use Yoshi, and that's perfectly fine because that's the way the game is set up. And there's so many other Mario references too, which I'm not going to spoil, but there are other Mario characters that do come in at the end in unexpected ways that I love to see. And I kind of wanted to see them go a little bit more meta. Like I wanted a superstar there. Like there's no superstar in the game, at least none that I saw. And I wanted you to grab it, and your expectations will be the Starman theme, but instead make it Can from Super Mario Land. Like completely take it meta.
Yes.
But they didn't do that, unfortunately. Like, I was waiting. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I think I kind of will echo what Barry said. Although I don't have Peach yet, but I definitely do use Rabbid Peach and Luigi a lot, and then just recently, and having Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi as another good combo. Definitely both pretty fun. I particularly favorite character, but those setups have been reliable so far.
Nice.
I do hope they will, not in addition to removing the Mario restriction, which again I understand for story purposes, but they also have the restriction of you need a rabid character as well. And again, there are story scenes where you absolutely will have a Mario with a rabbid, and the rabbid is needed for that scene. But I would love it if you got rid of that, just because it's restricting, it's forcing you, and it gets rid of that freedom a little bit. But I will say this too. This is a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it outright. But if you played Conker's Bad Fur Day, and you enjoyed Conker's Bad Fur Day, and you enjoyed The Great Mighty Pooh, there is something in this game that rivals that in epicness. And I'm not going to say anything, but there's something that rivals The Great Mighty Pooh in epicness. And I'm sure if you don't care about spoilers, you can look on YouTube and Google and you'll find something. But I'm not going to say it here. I don't want to spoil it, but just keep playing, and you will know when you get there, and you'll be like, oh my god, this is amazing. And there are some meta jokes that happen afterwards, like in the overworld, based off of that event, which just adds to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Interesting.
So
if you
haven't played Conker, go play it too. That's a good game.
Yeah, I haven't, so I'm not. I might have to add that to my list of games. Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any other aspects of the game that you feel you want to discuss or add on? I know we've covered a lot of different pieces to it because there's a lot to this game. Definitely.
Yeah, go and try it out. That's what I would suggest to anybody. Just to, test it out, see if you'd like it. Yeah, somehow get your hands on it and play it a little bit, because I think you'll really enjoy it. It's different than a lot of things out there, but yeah, if you're expecting a Mario game, it's not it. If you're expecting like a Super Mario RPG 2 kind of thing this way, that's not it either. So it's just a different feel, but it's something that I think everybody should experience.
It's
sure.
one of those things where if you can answer this question with a yes, does Mario and the world and environment and the music and all that, does that make you happy? Does it put a smile on your face? Does it bring back feelings of your childhood and maybe even a better time? If the answer is yes, then you need to at least try this game, because even if you're not, oh my god, I don't like heavy tactical RPGs, I don't like XCOM or Disgaea, which is a rabbit hole in itself. If you say I don't have the time for that, just pop it in and try it. You will most likely be so captivated that you'd be willing to learn, because it does teach you. Like, the whole first world is very much a tutorial that builds upon itself, and as you go through, you realize just how fluid this combat works, and how different it is, and just how incredible it goes together. And then once you go through and you start saying, oh wow, this is good, it just builds. It's a snowball. It will just get better with every world. It gets better with going back. It gets better with the challenges. There's just so much to this game. It is much bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely echo that and say, even, if you're not into strategy games or haven't really played many, like, still give this game a try, because it really, I feel like it's very open and will teach you and kind of lean you into it. And it's not like a super strategy heavy intensive game. If you're the type of person that really gets intense with all that, you have some ability to do that. There's a lot of, customization that you can do. But if you want to play more casually, you have that option as well. So it kind of fits different play styles, and it sort of is a good entry point to that genre as well, I think. And of course, yeah, if you love the Mario charm. And one other thing I saw too is there that don't like the Rabbids. I've seen a bunch of people say that they don't mind them in this game because they fit well with how the game has turned out. And so if you're another person that just immediately saw Rabbids, you're like, oh, I don't want to touch this thing, give it a try. Trust me, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at how well they're incorporated amongst, Mario's universe, and how well it all fits together. And it is funny. It has its funny moments, and definitely worth a try for sure.
Not only that, but if you don't like the Rabbids, and you should give it a try anyway, but you get to shoot them in the face, and they're very expressive. So you literally get to murder Rabbids, and you get to watch their looks of horror, and they're very animated. That's something we didn't talk about. Like, when you go to target an enemy that's behind another one, the enemy in the front will look and will duck and move out of the way. There are ones where with shields, but if you target them from behind, they put their hands up like, no, don't shoot. Little things like that add so much charm to this game, and we didn't even touch on it. Like, it just works. It makes the world feel alive. So yeah, I definitely echo that. You should. Just, the Rabbids work. They made it work. I don't know how they made it work. Their love for this game made it work, and that's just it. This game was made with love. This game was not made for money. This game wasn't made because it's an annual series or because they've got a contract. This was made because they wanted to make this game, and it shows. This game has so much love in it. And I do have a question for you guys. Now that this is out, now that Mario Rabbids is out, we know the DLC is coming, we know the season pass. Where does this go from here? First off, from this team, will we see a second one? Will they work on a new project for another developer? Will they work on a new project for the Switch, for Nintendo, or with Nintendo? And the second part of the question, now that this is working, I think this is selling well, will other third parties come into play and say, we want to work with Nintendo on their properties? And do you think it'll help encourage more third-party support on the Switch?
I think yes to many of the questions that you said. I think, well, for now, they're probably going to be working on additional content and everything for this game. And then after that, maybe they'll work on some other project or what, but I have a feeling they'll come back to this, because I think there's so much more that they can still do with it. And I think it's worth exploring that. And I think, Nintendo has talked a lot about collaborating with other companies and using their IPs a lot more for those collaborations. And, they're willing and open to do this with Ubisoft, and it turned out, amazing, and I think there's other potential great collaborations that could happen down the road, and you never know. I mean, this was completely unexpected, and it turned into something amazing. So I think with Nintendo being more open to it,
saying that we were going to get another Capcom Zelda or another Sega F-Zero or another Namco Star Fox, right?
yeah, something like that. I feel like we will get something.
Yes. Yeah. I would echo a lot of those things too, because I would say yes, and then like hopefully yes. Like that's right. Like may those third parties hear and see what is talked about, and it feels like Ubisoft is quite a bit behind Nintendo right now, and so I'm liking that. Even just a little bit of a spark going on back there. So I don't know. I don't know what kinds of things we'll get in the future, but yeah, the things that are talked about and the things I'm hearing, I love when Nintendo kind of brings something of theirs into the third party game a little bit. I don't know if I'm strange like that, but like Skyrim has me very intrigued just with like Link stuff, just putting that out there and just saying, hey, you get to dress up like Link from Breath of the Wild and go on this expedition. I'm like, okay, fine, here you go. That's right. So like there's these moments that I'm like, I really hope they do that. And I'm excited about the possibility. I think I'm gonna play NBA 2K. I'm getting that on my Nintendo Switch. I don't remember the last time I played a like sports game on Nintendo console at all, but I was like, that's very cool to me. So yeah, I'm intrigued and definitely gonna do something like that, because I'm like, they're getting the same thing, the same stuff, and it's like there's good stuff that is coming out. It's not like watered down stuff, So I think if they keep doing that, they're selling Switches like crazy. So I think third parties will eventually just jump on that and just be like, all right, we're with you, Nintendo. We're gonna sell our product this way. That's what we'll do, So yeah, that's kind of my thought anyway. I hope.
No, I agree. I mean, they've done things like that before with NBA Street V3 on the GameCube and SSX on Tour, the GameCube version, and stuff like that with Mario characters in there. And, maybe Ubisoft will take that shelved Wii U game that's completely finished and done and put it on the Switch, because it's still sitting on the shelf completely finished and done.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're even doing that with Ubisoft again with Rayman, the definitive edition. It's getting the Mario and Luigi costumes from the Wii U version, but it's also getting the Assassin's Creed from the Sony, the PS4 version, and it's getting the Splinter Cell costume from the Xbox version. They're all there, like it's all combined. So, and plus new costumes as well. So it's nice to see that, like, hey, they are adding all these things in. So who knows? Yeah. We'll see.
And Rocket League, when they announced that,
oh yeah, Rocket League has that.
Like I was like, oh my goodness, this looks beautiful.
So ready for that.
Yeah.
You know what worries about Rocket League right now? I can't pre-order it, which means they're not going to do a physical. Because if they don't do a physical, I won't be able to get it then, because I don't have to say, well, I got a PS4 and Xbox One version. So let's make that physical. Come on.
There you go, Barry.
Right.
That's awesome.
So we shall definitely see. But yeah, I think Mario and Rabbids was a great way to have that partnership there. It was developed by Ubisoft, but Nintendo, kind of offered their support and help with it, and it turned out great, as all three of us have said, and we definitely recommend it if you haven't got the chance to try it already. And hopefully it paves the way for more of these types of things in the future, for sure. I mean, hey, Nintendo Direct coming up. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
That's true.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap things up for this game chat. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Definitely check it out on the Nintendo Switch, available now. If you haven't already, check out NintendoFuse.com and all the other shows that we have on YouTube as well. We have a monthly podcast. We have Industry Talk. We have some other great content as well. We do different reviews, lots of cool stuff. And our big focus is just the community. We love to build a community and talk to you guys. And we're here talking about Mario and Rabbids, but we want to know what you guys have to say as well. So definitely join the community and talk with us, and should be fun. So thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.